Welcome to the Make Movies Great Again podcast, the only show in the universe with the sole mission of destroying cynicism at the box office. Here are your hosts, Matt, Adam, and Sean.
Welcome to the Make Movies Great Again podcast, number 51 for March 27th, 2018. You can chat with us on Twitter, at Make Movies Great. Toss us a like on Facebook, it's at Make Movies Great. And heart all of our pictures on Instagram, at Make Movies Great. Don't forget, this podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube. My name is Matt.
And I'm Adam.
And we're here.
We are back second week in a row.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Back,
Have to be back.
Trying to get back into Emperor's New Groove.
Right. Yeah. I like that. This is officially our new groove. This is our second wind, if you will. We had a little break. Sean is still not with us. It's been a busy time for all of us. Sean will hopefully rejoin the podcast next week, where we didn't just talk about this, but it might be a flip-flop. Now, let me explain to you why. I'm going to be working from Boston all of next week. So maybe, just maybe, you and I record the podcast locally, and Sean
calls in.
Yeah, Sean hops on the Skype machine. And
that would be fun.
And calls in. Yeah, that would be something. That just kind of like came across my mind.
I like it.
Yeah, keep this momentum going. What have you been up to, Adam?
Nothing. I went to the movies this weekend. I used my movie pass for the first time, which was a little bit of a production, but I'm glad I got to use it, and I'll probably hang on to it. The movie pass is good for seeing a matinee, like, being somewhere, seeing a matinee, and just going and getting tickets. Which, I can see myself doing once a month, and if you do it once a month, it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to go into a little bit of your trouble with the movie pass, because I think this is interesting. Because for me personally, I really haven't. I've been using it as like a special use case, and I'll get into that in a second. But I think this movie pass, as great as it sounds, it's really not for everybody's movie going experience. So explain what your issue is. So
I typically go to movie. 90% of the time when I go to the movies, I buy my tickets in advance. Whether it's a week, 2 weeks, the morning I'm going to the movie. Very, very rarely do I get to the movie, like buy tickets at the movie theater. You know what? I never buy movie tickets at the movie theater. I'll go as far as saying that. But with the movie pass, you have to be at the movie. At least at the theaters that are near me. You have to be within 100 yards of the theater the day of the show to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Which is something I did not know, and you can't use it to buy your ticket online.
Now, when I was in Orlando using it, and when I was in Dallas, when I used it a couple of times at the Alamo, there was a special section of my map section of movie theaters in the area that did accept online purchases. It was certain movies, and I noticed that now when I'm back here, when I'm in the Northeast in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, there are no movie theaters that come up in that section. I remember how I was telling you about that when you first got yours. I was like, look for that section. There are none. So which makes me think that maybe they'll be added at some point. But for your use case, like you were saying, you buy all your movie passes online before you get to the theater. And that right now, the way the movie pass is set up for you in our area is not going to work. That's just, I mean, not that it's not going to work. Like you said, matinees, if you just happen to be like going out to a movie that is not going to be sold out, you can just walk up and get your movie pass.
Right. Like if I want to go see Tomb Raider next Saturday, you know what I mean? I can go at 2:00 in the afternoon and buy a ticket. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if I want to April 28th, if I want to see the Avengers at 2, I'm not going to be able to get a ticket because that show's probably going to be sold out in advance of that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though it's a matinee, like there's the movie pass, with the movie pass in the theaters that I go to, the amount of traffic that they get, there's a slim to none chance that I can go to the theater that day and buy a ticket for the movie.
Yeah. I think when I first signed up for Movie Pass. Sorry if I've been saying Movie Club, actually.
You've been saying Pass.
Okay. when I first signed up for MoviePass, I kind of accepted the fact that some movies I'm going to still buy online.
Right.
Either
right.
way, you know what I mean? Like that was going to be an inevitability because we go see Star Wars like the night it comes out most of the time. We go see all the big movies, like all the like the marquee Marvel movies. We go see like the night it comes out. Anything DC, that kind of stuff. We're out there at the theater seeing it the night it comes out. And for MoviePass, that's just not going to. The way MoviePass works is just not going to cut it for those types of movies in the areas we're in. And maybe a little less for me because, Cinema World is not really like, it doesn't really get super crowded even for like midnight showings. But where you're at in Boston, those theaters are packed. They're jam-packed.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday night, those theaters are sold out.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking of is the big theater you go to all the time is an AMC, right?
Yep.
AMC notoriously has an issue with MoviePass. They have been one of the ones from the beginning that have been like fighting MoviePass. I still don't know why they fight it. They still get paid for the full price of what the movie cost. So I don't know why.
Right.
I don't know why they fight it, but that could also be a reason. They're one of the reasons. I don't.
Well,
again,
I went to the theater. So we went over there. It's like around a bunch of shops. So we went to the shops, and while my girlfriend was shopping, I popped into the theater, bought our tickets, and then met up back with her. We went to lunch, and then we came back and watched the movie.
Oh.
So in situations like that, it's fine. Like I went to the front desk. She swiped my card. I picked my seat, and then I had to swipe my other card so I could get Janet ticket because she doesn't have a movie pass.
Yep.
So I mean, in that sense, it was no big deal.
They should another feature they should add is they should add like you can add people to your account. I'm not saying like for a discount.
Movie passes.
Right, exactly. You should be able to link MoviePass accounts. So Jan and you should be able to go to the theater and use your one MoviePass card and link 2 accounts to it, and you should be able to buy 2 tickets. Because I've had to do that with Lindy as well. It's silly. Yeah. You check out with your MoviePass card, but then you have to do another transaction and hope that no one took that seat next to your significant other. In the time, in the time that you're taking to swipe the other card. So yeah, kind of silly. But I think that actually, I just saw a thing that MoviePass is doing a deal right now. If you sign up right now, it's like $7 and change a month for a certain amount of time. It's like cheaper.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It's not like I don't think it's like an indefinite thing. I think it's just like for a couple months it's cheaper. But they're really trying to get people to sign up, and I think that like they already have over 2 million subscribers, which is wild. So maybe more features come down the road. Who knows? Yeah. Well, anyway, let's get into trailers of the week. So we got 4 full-fledged trailers this week. We got first up, Deadpool 2 got a new trailer. Did you watch? I forget if you. I wasn't sure if you were the one that was not watching any Deadpool trailers, or have you been watching them all along?
I tough talked and said I wasn't going to watch it, but I watched it. I watched the trailer like 6 times.
Yeah, I feel like the Deadpool trailers, they're different from normal movie trailers in the way that Ryan Reynolds and the way the production team and the marketing team have been, the way Deadpool has been marketed and sold. They're almost an experience in themselves. Like how that first one, the teaser with Bob Ross, and you got that, Deadpool as Bob Ross, and you got that like 15-second like injection from the movie, from the actual movie. But it's like it's an experience unto itself. It's like part of the. You don't want to miss any of the content. You know what I mean? Like this is part of the Deadpool 2 experience now. It's these trailers.
And then in the second trailer, he did. They were poking fun at the CGI of Superman's mustache in Justice League.
Yeah.
And so they had Ryan Reynolds in his Deadpool costume do some of the trailer with action figures.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. But this one was a real deal trailer.
Right. Yes. And
none of the the funny Bob Ross thing or the action figures. And I thought this trailer was awesome. And I see on here you have a note for the X-Force, so it looks like we're getting this is going to be like an X-Force 0.5 movie. You know what I mean? Like we're getting X-Force 1, X-Force, but this is like your soft build up into the X-Force, which is really cool. And you have to see, I guess Terry Crews is going to be in it.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård is in it. and then a couple others I didn't recognize. But that's really cool that they're expanding expanding Deadpool's team.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were really gonna dive this deep into the X-Force. I had no idea. Like, I thought we were gonna get Domino, we were gonna get Cable, we were gonna get Deadpool, maybe was it Negasonic Teenager and Colossus. Maybe one other
random,
right.
yeah.
Right. I had no idea we were actually gonna get the X-Force. And Skarsgård and Pennywise the Clown and Terry Crews being in X-Force is so cool and so perfect for this Deadpool movie for Deadpool 2. And then they have the funny like little quip at the end, him and TJ Miller, they're like laughing about how it's like, oh, they were like joking about how they're not, like, why make a third one? We killed it with the second one. Like just like making fun of how there's always 3 movies or there's always sequels coming. It's just perfect. Just like tonally perfect for Deadpool 2 and what we wanted to expect, or what we expect from Deadpool.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this movie. I can't wait to see it. When does it come out? May? Late May?
Yes, May. Not April, maybe?
I think so.
No, maybe May. I was just talking to Lindy about this. Huge couple months for movies coming up.
Oh yeah, that's why. Like, another reason I'm holding on to the movie pass, because there's a solid chance that I'm not going to be able to get to the theater for all of these on a Friday or Saturday night, so I might see it the next weekend in a matinee, and that's what this is perfect for.
Yeah. It's May 18th, Deadpool 2, and you're right. That's exactly what it is perfect is. You get caught up and you start missing movies. You go on a matinee. You go with a random night, a random afternoon, and you can see those movies. And you can bang them all out because you're paying $9 a month for as many movies as you'd like to see.
Yep.
Really, Pacific Rim 2 kicked off the big time like movie rush. It's Pacific Rim 2. You could also add in Tomb Raider there. You got Deadpool 2 coming up, like we just said. You have Avengers Infinity War. You have the Solo movie. You have Ready Player One, which is coming out this week.
Our finest hour.
I'm telling you, man. So I was at work. I don't want to get too off the track, off the rails here. We're talking about trailers of the week. But I was at work this week, and a buddy of mine who works with me, he traveled last week for a show, and he came back, and he was like, I read this awesome book while I was traveling because I wanted to get prepared for the movie. And I'm like, he was like, have you ever read Ready Player One? And I was like, yes. As a matter of fact, I have. And me and my buddy Adam, we talk about it all the time, and we are so amped up for the movie, and he's so excited for the movie too. We can't wait. It's amazing.
Can't wait.
This week, baby. I can't wait.
Yep, I got tickets Friday night.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I don't know exactly when I'm going to see it, but I'm hopefully while I'm down, I'm flying to DC on Saturday. I'm hoping to see it down in DC while I'm down there.
Nice.
So next movie on our trailer of the week list is Action Point. This is starring Johnny Knoxville, but this is not a Jackass movie, or is it? It kind of looks like one.
It kind of looks like it. So I saw this as a trailer leading up to when I went to see Pacific Rim Uprising this weekend, which I'll get into at the end. But it's like I guess it's Jackass. It's Johnny Knoxville, and I saw Pontius, and I'm sure the rest of the guys are in there at some point.
Yeah.
And they all do their own stunts, and there's those gratuitous gags where they get hurt. And Johnny Knoxville, there's 2 things he loves doing. It's getting hurt and dressing up like an old man. And this hits both of those.
And he
does
both. Yeah. Yep. He does both. He's a madman. He's an absolute madman, and he legitimately just likes getting hurt. And
he laughs every time he gets hurt.
Yeah, it must be a psychotic reaction in his brain. Like, he must be wired differently, where pain makes him laugh. You know what I mean? It's just it's insane. All those really uncomfortable long shots, like the camera does not cut away, of all of them getting hurt. It's so painful to watch, but it's what made all the Jackass movies so great. And I always said that what is the Jeff Tremaine? I always said that Jeff Tremaine was a genius director. People, would never really agree with me, because the Jackass movies are just like, people will say they're glued, cut and paste glued together, just like
Yeah, they're so raw.
right. But he really did, for what they were, he really did hold together somewhat of a little not a nice film, but it was held together well, and it wasn't just a bunch of YouTube clips in a row put into the movie theaters. It was a legitimate film front to back. They had an intro. They had handles in the front and the back. They did the little sometimes they would continue storylines with Johnny Knoxville being an old man. But this just looks like a legitimate, more dressed up Jackass movie with a more visible storyline. And it's just
right. Yeah, exactly. It has a plot, and I like it. I like Johnny Knoxville. I like the Jackass guys, and it looks really funny. So if our listeners haven't seen it, it's basically the movie is a flashback to when Johnny Knoxville was younger, because he starts in the movie as dressed as an old man, and about how he used to own a theme park, and they had to do something out of the box to get people to come visit, and they basically removed all of the rules to their theme park, so people can do whatever they wanted there.
Yeah.
Including hurt themselves a lot. So it's gonna be, this movie will be really funny.
Yeah.
It's Jackass with a storyline.
Right. That's right. So. The next one up on our list here is The Spy Who Dumped Me. This stars Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon. Another big role for Kate McKinnon. I think this is her first big role since Ghostbusters.
Yeah, she was in that movie Rough Night too, with Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
That movie was really funny. She was hilarious.
Yeah.
The whole cast was hilarious in that movie, but this one is I agree and say this one was a step up, because it's not an ensemble anymore. It's two people.
Yeah.
I mean, Mila Kunis is the lead, but she's the supporting, the main supporting female.
Yeah.
It looks really funny. I'm excited to see this. This one is probably could be one I see in theaters. I think Justin Theroux is pretty funny too. He plays the spy.
The spy who is Mila Kunis' ex-boyfriend, who dumps Mila Kunis. That's where you get the title of the movie, The Spy Who Dumped Me. Yeah. I'm
trying to put my finger on what this sort of sounds like. The scene where they're in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler. They're tied up and someone's about to torture them or something, and they're going back and forth telling secrets about each other. It sounds like something. I can't think of two male comedians, but you know what I mean, where they just sort of go almost like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
they're
improv.
Just making things up. They're improving things on cue, and they just stick with the funniest things that they say. So that, I think they'll be a good team, and this will be a really funny movie.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The last one up here, I think this one is right up our alleys. I think you would agree.
Yeah, I had no idea that this existed.
So this is a Netflix movie. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. So this is called The Titan. It's starring Sam Worthington.
Big Sam Worthington guy, ever since Terminator Salvation.
Right. He was awesome in Terminator Salvation. A very underrated Terminator movie. This movie is about, the human race is going to shit. Earth is, dying, all that. It's been used a lot in movies recently because it's what's actually happening. We want to go and colonize Titan, which is the largest moon of Saturn. So they're going to, they pick these group of people to basically become, they want them to become not super soldiers or super, but they want to
They want them to evolve.
Right. And I think that is
to be able to survive on Titan.
Yeah. And so that is what happens, to the nth degree to Sam Worthington, it looks like in the trailer. And so you get kind of like a little sci-fi monster thriller here.
I'm psyched about this. This is, when does it? Did it say when it comes out?
It's within the next month or so, I believe.
Okay, so we gotta. This goes to the top of the list for Movie Club.
Oh, for sure. As soon as we get it, it's not going to be in time for next week's Movie Club, but as soon as we find out when it is, that will be the priority for Movie Club for sure.
Okay. I've got, speaking of, I'll get to it when we get to Movie Club.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's it for trailers.
And this is a Matt and Adam certified pick.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
go see. Right up our alley.
Yep. It looks fucking cool, and Netflix just keeps getting better and better with their movie releases. They really, I think the thing that I like, and we'll talk about this in a little bit too, because it's part of our main topic here for the day. But one of the things I really like about Netflix is they churn out movies so fast that you have no time to be spoiled by anything. I mean, this is going to be one.
You hear about a movie and then a month later it's out.
You're interested in it and you get to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you immediately get to watch it. It's not like other movies where they have these like 6-month lead time and you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that trailer. And then the movie comes out and you don't go see it because it's like has worn off since then. Netflix is like, here's your trailer and instant gratification. Here's your movie. And that's what works.
All the set photos and spoilers come out and hit the internet and, you know, ruin the Justice League end credit scene for you.
Right.
You don't get any of that.
Oh, God. That's awful. It's such a good end credit scene, too. Oh,
yeah.
All right, that's it for Trailers of the Week. So let's get into movie news. We only have a couple things on the radar here. The majority of these were pulled from ScreenRant.com. Or MovieRant.com, or Screen Rant. So if you want to go check out the full articles, you can go there and look for them. The first one up here, X-Men New Mutants, is going through some reshoots. The X-Men spinoff New Mutants is reportedly undergoing additional production, so extensive that almost half the movie may be reshot to make it scarier. Now, we saw this trailer a few months ago.
We were jazzed up about it.
And let me tell you something. It looked fucking scary as hell. It is just a trailer, but if they need to make it scarier, I think maybe what happened was they kind of like, they saw people's reaction to the trailer and they kind of realized that maybe this isn't as scary as we're making the trailer seem it is. And so now they have to go back and like, and I really hate the connotation that reshoots means, red alert for a movie. It's not true at all. It's not true at all.
True. I actually read a... no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, things can happen on the edit room floor, like on the fly, that can change the movie 100% for the better. And then you don't have the right shots to do what you want to be done, so you have to do reshoots. That's the only, sometimes it's bad. Other times, it's to legitimately just make the story better. Yep,
absolutely. So I read a couple of articles about this today, and I saw that almost half the movie might be reshot. They might be adding 1 or 2 new characters that will be in the entirety of the movie.
Wow. So that's a lot of reshoots.
Right. And this was filming up in outside in the Boston area at one point, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if they're still here.
Are you the character that they're adding?
I hope so. And then I thought this was in your note here, but the release. So this got pushed back to. This was originally slated for November of this year, or it was slated for this year. I'm pretty sure, but it's pushed back until May of 2019. Also, X-Men Dark Phoenix was pushed back till February of 2019 for reshoots. And like you said, usually there's a bad, connotation that comes with reshoots. But the article that I read clearly says that Fox confirmed that they were in the editing process, and like you said, they needed some more shots of to complete the movie, and the cast is full of high-profile actors, and they just couldn't get everybody on the same schedule. And by the time they would have gotten everybody on the same schedule, it wouldn't have been enough time for post before their November 2018 release date. So that's why Dark Phoenix is pushed.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. That makes total and honest sense. That has to be to schedule a movie with so many high-class, high-caliber actors, that's got to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
We think we always have our we like to do what cast should be for this movie. What are our hypothetical choices for this movie? And realistically, probably 99.9% of our choices would never work because you can't have all those big name actors on the same movie because they're doing so many different things. They have to really clear their skin. It's a miracle that Marvel can do what they do. A miracle.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insanity. It's insanity.
And also, actually, let me add another one. Also on the X-Men front and Deadpool front, I read somewhere that Deadpool they recently filmed something with a surprise cameo.
I heard that.
I don't know. I'm not looking into it. I refuse to look into it because I really have no idea who it could be. So that's very exciting.
Yes, very, very exciting. I'm super excited about that. All right, next up on movie news, the Duke Nukem movie officially has a lead, and it is. And his name is John Cena. So. I don't want to stop it because then it just loops again. But so his name is John Cena. John Cena is going to be Duke Nukem. I think we all guessed this, but nothing was confirmed, and I think now it is official, and it makes all is right with the universe. John Cena is going to be Duke Nukem. It makes total sense.
Yeah,
the video
that's going to be so great.
Yeah, it makes total sense, and it's going to be awesome. If they can get the right script and the right director and the right people behind the producing of it, this movie has the potential to be the type of like surprise that Deadpool was. I'm fully behind that notion. I think that this movie has the opportunity to be great. John Cena is blooming right in front of our eyes, just like The Rock did back when he was doing The Rundown and Walking Tall. This is going to be John Cena's coming out party.
Yeah, I agree, and there is the potential there for him to own this character, like Ryan Reynolds owns Deadpool and Robert Downey Jr. owns Iron Man. Now, those are extreme cases, but I think that this has the potential to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
For John Cena,
I totally agree.
I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for Cena. Yeah, let's get it.
Yep. Next up, Edge of Tomorrow 2 is getting a new script before filming begins. So, what is her name? Emily Blunt, who is in Edge of Tomorrow 1 with Tom Cruise. She had already came out and said that she was exciting. They're starting to get pre-production done for the Edge of Tomorrow sequel, which is very exciting because I really did love that film. And I think this was one of those movies that really gained a following after it came out on Blu-ray, on DVD, on digital, whatever, after it left theaters. Right? It really kind of, it was like...
This movie's awesome.
It is awesome. There's no doubt about it. It's awesome. It's a great sci-fi movie. It's like if you're into like, aliens and sci-fi I'm repeating myself, but if you're into like
time travel, sort of.
Yeah, time travel and all like that kind of like thinky sci-fi stuff, but also just like badass fighting and really good action scenes and like technology and robots and all that shit. If you're into that, it's a fucking awesome movie. And so the sequel was announced. Emily Blunt was attached to it. Tom Cruise is attached to it, I believe. They are apparently writing a new script. Doesn't sound like it's a bad thing. It sounds like Doug Liman, who is going to be directing it, he has a new idea for the sequel that Emily Blunt is really excited about, and that a new script is in the works, she says.
Awesome. Yeah, see, I'm behind the 8 ball on this one. I thought that this movie was like on its way out. You know what I mean? Like in post-production. That's where I thought this movie was at.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last summer, I think. We talked about how they were getting going with the sequel. I think what happened was Emily Blunt got caught up with some other projects and they delayed it. And I think in the meantime, Lyman came up with a new idea in which they're very excited about. And also in the article on Screen Rant where we got all this stuff from, the production and the studio are behind this movie 100%. So this doesn't have a chance to like just fall through. They are making this movie. They just need the new idea to come forward. And now I got to assume Emily Blunt is going to be their movies. What is the movie her and John Krasinski did? Her husband, the one that just came out.
Oh, A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place is getting stellar reviews. It debuted at South by Southwest.
Oh, awesome.
It's getting stellar reviews, and I got to imagine that they're going to be getting busy very soon working on their next project, whatever it is they're going to be bankrolled. So hopefully this movie can get filming in between then.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. So what do we got up for last on movie news?
Last one, just a small piece of Marvel info. So Captain Marvel is shooting right now with Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson. I saw something interesting that I can't remember his name. Clark Gregg, a.k.a. Agent Coulson, will be in this movie. Mm-hmm. Lee Pace, a.k.a. Ronan the Accuser, will be in this movie.
Whoa.
And Dimon, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Dimon Hounsou, who plays Korath, will be in this movie, who was Ronan's lead goon in Guardians 1.
Oh, very cool.
Remember him? He was like, he goes, Chris Pratt goes, the legendary outlaw Star-Lord, and he goes, who?
Yeah.
And then at the end he goes, Star-Lord. That guy.
Yeah, okay.
I know, I recognize this guy most from Gladiator.
Yes, yeah.
So, one of these days I'll learn how to pronounce his name. But, yeah, so that's pretty cool, bringing back some characters that are no longer with us, R.I.P., that we get to see again in Captain Marvel.
Yep, very, very cool. I think that's it for movie news. Let's move on to the main topic. So, in a recent interview, Steven Spielberg said some, in my opinion, not so great things about Netflix. And what he said was this has to do with whether Netflix should be, I'm assuming he means other streaming services as well, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. But this is what he said. Once you commit, they shouldn't be allowed to be up for Oscar nomination, Oscar winning contention, any of that. Once you commit to a television format, you're a TV movie, he told ITV News. You certainly, if it's a good show, deserve an Emmy, but not an Oscar. I don't believe films that are just given token qualifications in a couple of theaters for less than a week should qualify for the Academy Award nomination. That was Steven Spielberg. A couple of things. I think that the bigger problem here is that Oscar nominations, the requirement should change. The only reason why Netflix movies are put into theaters for those short times is so they can qualify. And it's stupid that they have to do that in the first place. It shouldn't matter. The way the times are changing.
Is a movie.
A movie. Yeah. You're right. Go ahead.
No, that's as simple as that. A movie is a movie. You know, if it's, I don't know if they put a time limit on it, but if, for example, what did you say? You saw all the Oscar nominees this year, right?
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
I can absolutely guarantee you that more eyes get put. If Phantom Thread was on Netflix, more people would have seen it.
Oh, for sure.
So you're gonna tell me that if that movie was a Netflix production, then it didn't deserve to be nominated?
Yep, it doesn't matter.
There might be some loose connections between those, like me making those connections, but yeah, I don't. And then again, I'm not the most famous director, one of the most famous directors of all time.
Yeah.
So, he probably knows a little bit more than we do, and has a different opinion. But I just don't see the big deal.
I respect Steven Spielberg. I just recently watched his 3-hour documentary called Spielberg that they did on him. HBO did. Yeah. It was amazing. He has an amazing career, and I understand that he comes from a very different background of filmmaking. Like, he was one of the kids who was running around with an 8mm camcorder, shooting and like dreaming of working in Hollywood and making these big movies. But the times have changed, and I don't want to just sound like someone who's saying this is the way the world's going. But legitimately, Adam, tell me that it wasn't a travesty that Mudbound wasn't nominated for Best Picture this year.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even make that connection. That was why.
It's a travesty that Mudbound wasn't nominated, and I don't know. And it could be that it didn't qualify, quote unquote qualify. I'm putting air quotes here, but also it could just be that things like this. Like, people clearly think, and let me go to another quote here. This is the director of the Cannes Film Festival.
Yep.
Cannes. In order for a film to become part of history, it must go through theaters, box office, the critics, the passion of cinephiles, award campaigns, books, directories, and filmographies. I don't know what that is. All this is part of a tradition on which the history of film is based. Now, this is troublesome because why do, just because the way things were, why do they need to continue going that way? You know what I mean? Like, why does that need to be the way film is categorized in history?
Right.
I just
right. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
More and more now we see, top tier actors and directors commit to projects with streaming services.
Yep.
And you're getting quality movies like, and what you said about Mudbound. Mudbound was awesome. One of the best movies. It was in all of our top 10s this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the Academy, but that movie was great. That movie was legit great.
Yep.
And my guess is that it didn't qualify.
Yeah.
For an Oscar because of these parameters you talk about here: theaters, box office.
It makes sense.
Critics. It does make sense, and it's unfortunate, but I agree. Like you said, obviously nothing but respect for Steven Spielberg. He is a pioneer. But times are changing, and maybe these rules have to change too.
I totally agree with you. And speaking of Netflix, let's move on to Movie Club. This is Movie Club number 29 for the Netflix movie The Ritual. Or should I say just regular movie? We're gonna drop. It was on Netflix. It's very important to say it was on Netflix, but it still kind of chaps my ass that they don't want Netflix movies to be nominated for Oscars.
Yeah,
But, it's a movie. It's a film that was, the heart and soul was poured into it by, I'm sure, a shitload of people.
Yep.
And anyway, this movie was fucking crazy.
Right?
It was wild. Did not expect the route that it took. I didn't watch anything about it. I didn't read anything about it. I just kind of went into it blind. Right.
So this movie came on my radar. My sister's now fiance told me about it. Marcus was super into this. They watch a lot of scary stuff. And so he told me to check this out. And so I watched it, and I sort of saw where it was going at the beginning with, I guess I don't want to say that. So I'm halfway through the movie, right? And it's fucked up. Everybody's starting to die. And I start thinking to myself, like, why is it called The Ritual? You know what I mean? Like, they're in the woods, but there's this monster, there's this something not human chasing them, right?
Yeah.
So why is it The Ritual? And then the third act of the movie was The Ritual. I was like, oh, here we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
And this movie is, I thought when I was done with it, it was a lot smarter than it started out as because of that. Like, that was one reason where I thought it was a lot, like, the whole time it had a very, it had two directions. Because I'm thinking to myself, the friend that hurts his knee, I forget their names. I watched this like a month ago. I forget their names. The friend that hurts his knee, when they all have their first nightmares in that creepy ass fucking cabin in the middle of the woods.
That I would have never stayed in a million years.
Stay on the path. If you've ever been hiking in your life, there are signs that explicitly say, stay on the path.
There are rules. There are rules here.
That's how you die when you go off the path, whether it's steep cliffs or rocks or monsters. So they all have their nightmares, and I'm pretty confident that it's a monster throughout the whole movie, right? But then the guy that hurts his knee at one point, and he goes, "No, hillbillies out in the woods, they're chasing us." This and I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" There hasn't been anything in the movie so far to support that. And then, come the end, he saw it in his nightmare.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool little piece to the movie. What did you think?
Overall, I did enjoy it. I didn't expect the whole like legitimate monster to this whole scenario. Like, I was expecting like an Exorcist type shit. Like I was expecting like possessions, demons, maybe like some hinting towards, but I did not expect to see a full on monster. And honestly, they did it. They handled it like a master. Like it was like almost. And I'm not. This is gonna be a crazy comparison. It's almost alien-esque. Like they showed, at the end you see a lot of the monster, which is apparently Loki's spawn, and Loki is like in the history books, or not the history books, but like in mythology. What? Yeah, right. So yeah,
God of mischief.
Right. So is he Loki, or is he a spawn of Loki? I forget what they said in the movie. Right? It was a spawn.
Yeah, a spawn, but it's still like they still consider it a god.
Right. Yeah. Sure. But they really did a tremendous job of like keeping this monster in the shadows for most of the movie, like hinting at, like, showing it without showing it. That's the kind of the using sounds. That's the Steven Spielberg approach to it. That's like what happens in Jaws. And I hate to bring up Steven Spielberg's name now because it's kind of sour in my mouth. But, like that's what happens in Jaws. That's what happens in Alien. It's without showing it. And then towards the end, you start getting like full glimpses of this monster. And honestly, between the practical and CGI effects, like this movie looks like it has the budget of a movie 2 times its worth. I have to imagine.
I agree. You know why I recognize the main actor. He's in Hot Fuzz, and he's in he was in an episode of Black Mirror. He's in like a lot of British things, I would say. Actually, he was in Prometheus. He was in Prometheus, actually.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right.
One of the scientists that got his arm broken.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, so they didn't blow the budget on actors. Everything was shot pretty. I wouldn't want to say guerrilla style, but everything was out in the woods. So there weren't like sets, and it was dark for most of the movie. So it seems like that they spent that money on the creature, and it was 100% worth it. And I found myself like the part where you see the creature, a hand of the creature.
Oh my God.
First of all, my heart was in my fucking mouth.
Are you talking about when he goes up ahead and he looks through like the trees and he sees the hand? Oh my God, that was.
I rewound like 3 times trying to see it in the woods, but all I could see was the hand.
It was fucking creepy as fuck. The way that, like I said, the way they reveal it is crazy, and then the big build up at the end when you have the whole ritual thing and his friend gets sacrificed on the post and he gets taken away and put up on a tree by the monster. And he comes out and he burns and I want to talk about this in a second. He burns the whole like ritual area to the ground. The house goes down. He fucking kills a bunch of people, runs out of the house. When he's running away from the house and he turns around and you finally get like a real, good look for a long time at the monster. They do this amazing.
The house is burning behind it, right?
They do this amazing effect. Not an effect, but the house is burning behind it, so you only get the silhouette of the monster. And it's just like this perfect thing where it looks so real and it just looks natural in that scene. And it's such a great way to show it without really revealing like its whole top to bottom, figure. If that was in the daytime, you'd see everything of that monster. And in a lot of scenes in this, you do see it, but only for split seconds. For this, it was a long shot of them looking, back and forth. Hit the guy's close-up of the guy, the main character, and then back to the house. And then back to him, and then back to the house. So you see this big sprawling, this huge fucking giraffe-like monster. It's fucking wild, man. The way
I don't know if I'd say giraffe, but it was definitely fucking weird.
But it had the same type of like fucking gait as a giraffe, like the way it walked and shit.
Yeah, I guess so. It had a neck to it, I would say.
It didn't. Yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't a giraffe. It was this fucking weird. It was so weird how it was made up. It had like the 4 legs, and then the body went up, and then it had like its little face
hands
and arms. It was so weird. I want to go back to the actual ritual part. So
Yep.
that kind of went over my head a little bit. So do you have any like insight that you could fill me in on with that? Like the little so fill me in.
So we're down to two guys, the main guy and the friend with the busted leg,
Right.
and they're like, "All right, get here." They just lost the third to last guy.
Yeah.
And the main one scouts ahead again, and he starts to see lights, and you're like, oh, we're getting to the end of the movie here. Maybe that's the resort. And at the time, I thought that too. But then, another thing I thought back at the end, I was like, oh shit, that was them setting up for the ritual. It was just torches. It wasn't the resort they were going to.
Right.
So he gets that friend, and they end up at the house in the woods, the compound, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And because this group of people lives out there in the woods, and they worship this god, and because they worship this god and make sacrifices to it, they're allowed to they can live longer lives. That's why technically I guess you'd call them people, but they were like skeletons upstairs in that compound. They were still alive because they worshipped that god. Like,
that's
they
so fucked up.
knows how long they were alive for.
Yeah. I want to make a quick comparison.
And actually, the main friend, this is what I understood, was chosen to join them.
Okay. Yeah, right.
He had that mark on his chest.
Yeah.
The
He
girl
was chosen.
Talked to that sort of sympathized with them he was chosen to stay with them.
Yeah. I want to make a quick comparison.
I think he said you'll worship him too.
Right. The comparison I want to make is to Doctor Strange. Have you seen Doctor Strange?
Like the Marvel movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that makes total sense to me in my head. It's kind of like this like fucking sick not perverted, but sick twisted, ideology that you worship this god, you live for indefinitely, but you're like it's like the you sell your soul to the devil. It's not really what it seems.
Right.
In Doctor Strange, if you remember, the Ancient One and also the character that Mads Mikkelsen plays,
Mm-hmm.
They are drawing power from the dark dimension, and Dormammu specifically is doing equate Dormammu to this the Loki spawn and the monster in this movie, and they're expecting life everlasting and this this beautiful whatever, and it's not what it seems. So that's what it kind of seems like here. Although I feel like that these fucking crazy people just like they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, oh, we're fucking these. So he just like, and that guy just walks in there and tortures all those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, the part at the end where, you get the full reveal of the creature, and it goes into some pose. Did you understand that?
No, you
know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, that's when it chases the main character down. And I'm sorry I can't remember his name. I just watched it a couple days ago too, but I guess the names weren't really like memorable, honestly. But anyway, he's after the monster chases him down in the woods. It like forces him to the ground, and then it does the pose, right?
Yeah.
So it does this. I don't know what that was. Maybe that was like it preparing the guy to be, part of the crew, part of the ship, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, maybe that was like what I don't know. It was like, being a god. It was like, showing its alpha. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. That was interesting. I should have looked it up a while ago, but that was really interesting. And so my final thought on this movie is that at the end, right? Credits roll. The one guy makes out, and you assume that he is the least well off of this group of five. Group of five it was. What does he tell the families and significant others and everybody else are the people that he went with?
I always think about that in movies like this. You have to just disappear.
Yes, you have to. Now everybody's gonna think. Yeah, everyone has to think you're dead too.
Yeah, you have to
because
disappear.
They're gonna think you murdered all these people.
Yep, you have to just be gone off the face of the earth. Yeah, that's awful. And then speaking of awful, like going back to the beginning of the movie where, the whole thing kind of gets set up as this group of guys that go out, and then the main character wants to get another drink, and he goes to this like liquor store, and his friend gets fucking bludgeoned to death in the opening 10 minutes of the fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, and he does nothing. The guy does nothing, and he hides, and so like the whole guilt of that happening, he felt powerless, and so the whole, his nightmares in the movie are always those flashbacks to that convenience store, which I thought was really cool and really well done. Like how it kept at first when he first had the nightmare of the convenience store, the liquor store, it was a full liquor store. It was, pretty much everything was like normal. But then as the movie goes on, the convenience store gets more and more distorted, and more of the woods is involved in it and weave through it. And then so finally, when that monster is chasing him through the woods, it's literally knocking over convenience store shelves to get to him.
Yeah.
That was fucking crazy. And I thought like that weave of like this monster is chasing him and this whole scenario is playing out in front of him, and his inside is like screaming to be the pussy person that he is and like give in to this monster, but then finally he has the gall and the balls to fight back. And that's kind of like what I got from it, which is like what he wished he could have done in the scenario in the beginning of the movie with his friend who got killed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. What would you thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs medium? What are you giving this bad boy?
I give it a thumbs up. I give it a solid thumbs up.
I agree, because it was I sort of went into it with medium expectations, and it was a lot more than I thought it was. I enjoyed this one.
Yep, and this is as always, this is a great sign for things to come from Netflix, the way that they're making. I mean, the people they're putting these things in their hands, these talented writers, directors, actors, producers. So this is the type of stuff that they make, along with Mudbound and all their other great original content. So very exciting stuff. Yeah, solid thumbs up.
So I wanted to propose a movie for next week's movie club.
Go for it. I got nothing.
Also a Netflix movie.
Okay.
Starring Jared Leto, called The Outsider.
Okay, The Outsider.
Have you heard about this one?
I actually have heard about it, but would you like to read a synopsis if you have one in front of
you? I would. An epic set in post-World War II Japan and centered on an American former GI who joins the Yakuza. Sounds pretty badass to me.
Yep, it sounds pretty cool.
So I'm excited to watch this one. I almost watched it the other day, but then I was going to watch the original Batman, and I ended up watching The Dark Knight. So
nice, awesome.
So that leads us into what we're watching.
Yes.
What we're watching, like I just said, I watched The Dark Knight over the weekend. Had a little guy time, popped it in for me and Chase to watch. It was awesome. I saw Game Over Man with the guys from Workaholics.
Yep.
On Netflix. I thought it was funny. It was basically, an hour and a half Workaholics episode that was rated R, and there could be nudity and blood and violence and tons of swearing. It was pretty funny. You would enjoy it. Jen did not enjoy it. So, and finally, last but not least, I saw Pacific Rim Uprising.
So jealous.
Very good. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot more plot going on. Not a lot more plot. There was a different type of plot going on in this movie. There was only, and I guess a gripe people had with it is that there's only one giant monsters versus robots fight, which is true, but it's insane.
Okay.
There's other, robot to robot fighting, and I won't spoil anything for you, but there was also a lot in this movie that I didn't see coming.
Okay. I'm excited about that. Very excited.
John Boyega was great. I think it proved to me that he can carry a franchise as its lead. He was great. The main girl, I forget her name, younger girl, teenager. She was really good too. They played really well off of each other. That was really cool. They wove in the world of the original Pacific Rim so well. yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it when you see it.
I'm so excited. We had talked briefly via text about how John Boyega's production company actually was one of the production companies that did this movie. And I thought that was fascinating. I listened to a podcast recently with him on it with Chris Harwick called the ID10T podcast, and he talked about the process of him starring in the movie as well as giving notes and changes in the script and things like that, which is crazy. This is crazy. This is John Boyega, 26 years old, doing this. He already starred in 2 huge Star Wars movies. Yep. Not to mention Attack the Block, which is great in its own right.
That movie's awesome.
Yeah, so he's having such a meteoric rise right now. He's a rocket ship, man. He is a rocket ship. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I saw some fan art on Instagram. One of him is Blade, and the other one of him is Green Lantern, which was pretty cool.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. And someone pointed out to him in an interview, and he was like, Blade now. That's Wesley. That's Wesley's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably just said that to be nice, but...
Oh, yeah, of course.
He would be awesome. That fan art is so cool, and it's so fitting. Is. Yeah. So
what you been watching?
So I binged basically comic book movies this past week. I watched Wonder Woman on HBO. I watched Captain America: Civil War on Netflix. I watched Guardians 2 on Netflix, and I watched Doctor Strange again on Netflix. I love Doctor Strange. It's one of my favorites. It doesn't quite crack the top 5 for me because there's so many good Marvel movies that I enjoy more than it. But it's one of those sneaky ones that I kind of equate with Ant-Man. It was one of the beginning of Phase 3 movies, and it had that modern Marvel swag to it, where Marvel at this point in time can't do anything wrong with its films. And this is kind of the era where it started happening like that. So I just really liked it. The characters were strong. I'm hoping that he has a pretty big part in Infinity War, the upcoming small budget indie movie that we're probably gonna be seeing. I hope he really has. I hope he has a good part in it because I really like Doctor Strange. Obviously, Guardians 2 is fantastic. Kurt Russell is so good in Guardians 2.
He really is.
Yeah, Kurt Russell is so good in Guardians 2, and that soundtrack is just awesome. I love the way. Have you watched it recently?
Probably late 2017. I watched it last.
Watch it again when you get a chance, when you have nothing to do and you want to just watch something that's awesome. The opening scene of Guardians 2 is this sweeping shot of. It's wherever Peter Quill is from. It's the Midwest somewhere out in the the boonies, and it's just this sprawling shot, and these big block letters show up on the screen. Boom, boom. The date and where they currently are, and it's when Kurt Russell and Peter Quill's mom are riding in their T-top Camaro, and they're playing Brandy. The song Brandy by Looking Glass, which is one of the best songs.
Oh, love that song.
And it's just this amazing feel. I got this whole rush of endorphins and my whole body was overcome with emotions. It's amazing because it was so grand and the letters are so blocking. The way James Gunn weaves emotion and music together along with the visuals he puts on the screen, it's one of my favorite cold opens to a movie, I think, of all time. It's just I don't think anything's ever got me like that. It's just there's something about it. It's the colors. It's the font, even down to the font of the letters and text. I don't know. There's something about it. Love that movie.
Yeah, he does such a great job with those movies. He's so important to their success.
So important, and the freedom he gets too is so important.
Absolutely. To do it his way.
Yeah, and I still think that the Yondu funeral scene is one of the most emotional moments so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh man, tear up in that one.
Absolutely. So cool. Love that movie. You haven't seen it, go on Netflix and watch it, even though I just spoiled a bunch of it for you. Anyway, the last thing I've been watching and the most exciting thing I've been watching hasn't been a movie. It's kind of a TV show. It's online. It's on this website called Alpha. Alpha does all these like kind of like nerdy YouTube video type things. They curate some stuff from the Nerdist YouTube channel, from other YouTube channels. But one of the things they're doing now is called this show called Starter Kit, which is in its second season. And they teach like people who have never played before, people how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's cool.
And it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's very informative. And it really takes like it's very, for me at least, I've always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I know you've expressed interest in it as well, and Sean as well. We're just bored, we're table game guys. I think we come down to it, but it's always been intimidating to want to sit down and play a role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons because of it's so intricate and there's a lot of history behind it. But this show really does a great job of breaking it down to, its very tiny, intricate parts and putting it all together and what it all means all together. And the first episode is selecting your character and how you get your attributes and things like that. And so right now I'm on the first episode, but I'm planning to like binge this and kind of like get up to speed. So that way, hopefully the three of us can get a campaign going at some point. An ongoing
that would be
right?
cool. Mike D knows how to play, right?
Mike D does know how to play. We need to get Mike D involved as well. I think that is integral too. I just wanted to like kind of get a little
get a base for yourself.
Right. And they do some other really cool things on there on alpha.com. It's called Project Alpha. They also do this show where they review and teach you how to play new board games. One of the games on there is the thing I was telling you about, the Outpost Infection at Outpost 31. It's 109 minutes. I have not watched it yet, but I do plan on watching it. So with the extra info you gave me about how we were playing the game wrong, along with this video, hopefully the next time we're all together and we play Infection at Outpost 31, we will be experts and be able to play it absolutely correctly.
Yeah.
So,
although our way was fun too.
Yeah, I mean, we did not have a bad time playing the way we've been playing, but I would like to play the way it was intended because I did feel at times that passing missions and defeating the thing was often too easy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to like kind of like get down and dirty and play with a little more difficulty. So
yeah,
I'm going to watch that as well as probably peruse. It's so funny because I was packing up the house and I'm packing up Project Raygun, the Infection at Outpost 31. I'm packing that up with all my other board games, and then I'm continuing to pack up my coffee table, and the instruction manual is out because I had just been reading through it. Because I just wanted to because after you had told me we were playing it wrong, I'm like, I got to go back and like now look at all this shit. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been watching. That's what I've been doing, and I think that's going to do it for today. I think that's it. So.
Yeah, definitely. So for our listeners out there, if you're in the movie club, next week's movie is The Outsider on Netflix. Check that out. We just watched The Ritual. If you want to check that out too. And yeah, Matt, anything else to add?
No, that's going to be it. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Make Movies Great. On Instagram, it's the same. And on Facebook, it's the same. Follow us all over those places. Hit us up. Let us know what you thought about The Ritual. Let us know what you think about The Outsider. It's coming up. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. Go watch some movies, and we'll catch you guys next week. Maybe I'll be up in Boston with Adam.
Oh, yeah.